Hi guys, welcome back. My name is Jaspreet and I am back today with another really simple but fun tutorial. This is what I'm calling a puffy rimmed plate or dish. Like I said, it's really fun and simple. I wanted to make something like this for some time, but I was trying to figure out how to get those puffy rims and not just once, but kind of get them repeatedly. And I wasn't really keen on investing in a new tool just to get those rims. So I made my own tool and I'll show you how I did that in the video. And then I made my puffy rims. Now I've made it in circular, but you can make these in square, rectangle, ovals, even irregular shapes. I think that'll look really pretty. This was a bit of an experiment, but I'm happy with the way it turned out. I hope you guys enjoy it too. Let's get started. Alright, so we're going to make a few different versions, and I first started with making these little rings. This is just coils that I flattened. So I just rolled out some coils on the table. I flattened them and then made these little circles. So I made two different sizes, and we're going to use these as our forms on which we fold our clay, or lay our clay down and make our folded edge, folded rim plates. So this is the first thing that you need to do. You can use other things in your studio. You don't have to necessarily make these. Now I plan to make multiples of these, so that's why I make this. I will fire this, at least bisque fire it and keep it ready. But for now, I made these in the morning today. It's been like 3 4 hours since I made these. They're not entirely dry, but I think they should be okay for what we want to do. So I'm going to use these and we'll see how it goes. So I'm going to bring in my clay and get started. So here's my clay slab, and you can see it's already been used for some other project. I'm going to just quickly compress it before I get started. This is recycled clay, a mix of two clays. You can see some of the whites here. Now for this, I would assume we'd need something which is soft. We need softer clay. I think you'll get better results with softer clay because you have to kind of push it and get it to conform to that form. We'll see. Okay, so I'm compressing one side, lifting, and doing the same on the other side. So once we've compressed our clay, I'm going to now just quickly check my forms. So I'm going to start with the smaller one. Okay, so I'll just bring it here to kind of assess how much clay I need. I'm going to just kind of lightly mark it here so that I know I need to cut out a much bigger circle, all right, like a slightly bigger circle. So for this, I'll mostly bring in a GR pottery form. Now this one is about 6.5 inches circle, and I'm just trying to see if this is going to be enough. This may be a little small, and the next size up I have is an 8 inch, which I feel will be a bit too much, but we're gonna try. Okay, so I'm gonna take this guy. I'm using the GR pottery forms only to get the circle template. That's it, nothing more than that. So I'm gonna take this and cut out a circle here. Okay, I'm not adding any texture because we're trying this out. If we like it, then we'll do one with texture as well, or maybe you can try one with texture. So for now, I'm just going to use this. Now I'm using this particular size because of the circle that I have. I just need something which has enough room for me to kind of place on this template and then push it in, and also have a little bit of an overhang. So that's the reason I'm using a much bigger circle. Okay, now I need another board. Here's my board. I'm going to use this one. Let me take this away. Now before we do anything else, I'm going to quickly just take care of the rims, because once you put it on that form, we won't have an opportunity to do the rim. Damp fingers going around, cleaning it up, doing the same on this side as well. Like I said, soft clay is preferable for something like this. Now we just lift it up. Okay, I'm gonna put this here. All right, place this in the center more or less. So I've made this nice and soft because I need a soft, rim there. So I'm placing this here. And then I'm going to bring in another board and flip this over. My boards are all dirty. Okay, so just bring this here and then flip it over. Okay. All right, let's see what we can do now. This is live testing, guys. Okay, I'm placing a banding wheel underneath there, And then uh, I'm going to start pushing this clay in a little bit, just lifting from the sides and pushing it in. We don't need too much of a push because we're not making too deep a dish in the center. So I'm just lifting this up a little bit so that it kind of you know goes in a tiny bit. So we're doing a couple of rounds of this, and then I'm going to just take this and just do this. Okay, so you can see that the clay around the rim has started to flop, right? And I can see this is too big a circle. Okay, this is what I wanted to avoid, but I don't see any other way of doing this. So I'm going to start cutting off. Now this will be mostly eyeballing, so we'll see how this goes, but I'm going to just take about an inch, I think, away here. Okay, oopsie, didn't cut all the way through. All right, let's just cut all the way through one more time. Okay, all right, now I'm going to do the tapping thing one more time. Okay, so you see there's enough depression here. This is okay. I'm happy with the way it looks on the inside. I need to do something about the outside. So outside, I'm going to now, so for the outside, what I'm thinking is, let me lift this off the board. I'm going to just hold it here, and I am going to create some of these little, it doesn't have to be very uniform. Just create these ruffles around the rim. Again, I'm not being very uniform, though I feel that this is turning into a uniform thing, but let me just place this back here. And the idea is that even with the ruffles, the base has to be still nice and flat. So just create the ruffles in the clay, okay, and then put them back so they're sitting on the board and it's not, kind of hanging up in the air, because you want a plate which sits nicely and not a plate which is wobbly, right? So yeah, okay, this is probably my first step. I'm going to just clean up the edge a little bit, do the inside also, just pushing the dish a little bit on the inside. Here I'm just fidgeting around with the ruffles a little bit more till I'm happy with the way they look. So once we have this and we are happy with the way it looks, my clay is also stiffening up. I'm going to take another board and just flip it over. Okay. Remove this guy. Oopsie. Okay. Place it back on this and flip it back over. And here's your. Now I can do a little bit more of this, things with the rim. So here's your folded rim dish. Now once this has been bisfired, it's time for glazing. I'm using my standard favorite combination, which is, it's not even a combination, it's just soft white, which I'm applying with a fan brush, a Mako fan brush, and I'll be doing 2 coats for each of these. I try to keep uniform coats, but with soft white, I realize it's generally pretty easy to glaze. Even if it's a little patchy, it doesn't look bad. And this is a slightly darker clay, so there will be variation in the way the surface looks. It won't be a flat white surface. I did have more elaborate plans, but as usual, I was in a pinch, so I decided to go with soft white. And also, this is a darker clay. I believe soft white would generally look nice with it. That's my second coat for the two of these. Now, I did plan to make these in a few different shapes. This is a circle. I wanted to make one in square. Probably that's a project for another time, but I'll be trying that as well to see how this turns out. But here's my second coat. Once these are dry, I will be firing them to cone 5-6, which is about 1200 degrees Celsius in my kiln, and I'll show you what they look like after the glaze firing. Also, don't forget to clean the base of your pieces before you place them in your kiln. Otherwise, you'll have this beautiful, cute little plate stuck to your kiln shelf. So make sure that the bases are all nice and clean.